Cape Yacht Club. Rich elitists. The only time someone from my community showed up in this yacht club was to wash dishes in the kitchen or to fix broken gear on the boat. We did not show up to be equals. There were major cultural differences between my community and the sailing community. And you know about cultural differences in your country, in this world, in our experiences. But we had to break and get beyond these differences. But my father had the courage to take me from boat to boat. And I went knocking, please, will you take me sailing? No. Please, will you take me sailing? No. Please take me sailing, will you? Will you? Yes? Yes. Look at all the no's I went through to get a yes. Ladies and gentlemen, the only difference between a no and a yes is in how many times you ask. How many of you are parents? How many of you have children? Okay, the majority of you, when you say no to your children, do they just roll over and say, sure, mommy, sure, daddy, you're right? No, they wear you down. But yet, when we become adults, we don't let that child in us come out. We take no at face value. We must never, ever allow the word no to hold us back. And as we look at changes in technology, there's so much resistance that the boards will have because of costs, or the community might have because of upgrades. But we must learn to find a way to work around these different things. Because at the end of the day, the yes is so powerful. I got on that boat, and I got out there sailing, and I loved it. You know, when I was on that boat, I cannot tell you the feelings. It was just so emotional. But I was seasick. But I read that some of the world's best sailors got seasick, but they overcame it by being involved, by being passionate. You see, when we start to do something, we have very limited knowledge. But all we bring to the table is enthusiasm and passion. And when we have enthusiasm and passion, we can move mountains. But I would read during the week about sailing, about boats, and on the weekends, I would bring that little bit of knowledge and ask questions. How do you do this? How do you do that? Can I drive the boat? We become part of a team. We must be team players. I loved every moment, and I knew someday I'm going to own a yacht. So I got myself a red jacket. And I said, one day, when I own a yacht, I will wear this jacket as a symbol of my success. What do you have as symbols of your dreams and your goals for your success? And on a Monday morning, I would come to school, and my school friends would talk about what parties they had gone to. Then they would poke fun at me and say, I guess, Peterson, you went sailing, right? I was an outcast in my community. Nobody had done this before. This was apartheid South Africa. My own school friends would poke fun at me. There I was on my crutches. And they said to me, give up the dream. You're never going to be a sailor. You're never going to own a yacht. Who are you kidding? And in the yachting community, people said, you're not one of us. You don't belong here. But I looked at my sailing jacket, and I knew, some way, somehow, I will get there. And when my school friends were running around kicking a ball, playing soccer, I was hobbling around on crutches. And I wanted to be part of them. And they said, you're a sissy. Go play with the girls. Well, I'm still perfecting playing with the girls. Things in life can be hard. Life can be cruel. But it comes back up to us. Are we willing to just lay down and say it's too hard, it can't be done? Or are we willing to stand up and be counted, to prove that we are right to dream, to look at our changes, to look at our possibilities, and put them all into our treasure chest of experience? Well, I'm around at the water, I'm learning to sail, and the very first round-the-world yacht race, single-handed with stopovers takes place, and Cape Town was to be the first port of call. An exciting moment for all of us in the world of yachting. And when the third competitor arrived, a Sunday morning, just by chance, I happened to be on the dock, waiting since pre-sunrise, pre-dawn, for him to arrive. In the middle of the morning when he came to the dock, hundreds of spectators had gathered. And when he said he needed help, he needed a volunteer on the boat, by the time the word help was on his mouth, I was landing on his deck. We cleaned up the boat, we stowed the sails, we tidied up the ropes. And when we were done, I began to ask him questions. Lots of questions. How did he find the money for that boat? Why that boat? The route he took. What will be different on the next leg? You see, we all want to know how to do things and to achieve things. But we must not be afraid to step out of the box to go and find that way. This man was a hero and as a giant of a sailor. And he answered every one of my questions. And that was significant. The reason it was significant? As this hero, he had not yet gone ashore and hugged his loved ones. He had not yet spoken to the world media, but he found the time to talk to this kid. How many times have great sportspersons or great leaders spent time talking to the rank and file? That changed my life. Because at that moment I learned that perhaps one day I could be a great sailor like him. I could maybe sail around the world alone. And from him I learned about this race called the O-Star race from England to America. And I had a new goal. I wanted to participate in that particular event. And I heard about this hero called Harry Mitchell. Somebody I read about in all kinds of books and magazines. And he became one of my personal heroes. And I wanted to meet him at one of these races. And my school friends said, give up the dream. You're going to be a drunk like your father. Who are you kidding? But I knew what I was working towards. And around the yacht club, the wealthy yachtsmen were careless. They dropped things overboard. In a swim trunks, swimsuit, with fins and a mask, I could dive down and retrieve it. Before I did back, no sir, no ma'am, that's $5. I took those little bits of money I was earning and I saved it because these were cold waters and I needed a wetsuit. And when I had saved enough money to buy a wetsuit that was too big for me, I now could stay in the water and scrub holes, earn more money, which now enabled me to take scuba lessons. And with scuba lessons, more sophisticated jobs and earning some money and saving that money. I knew that if I am to be a yachtsman, I'm going to need resources. You see, yachtsmen are wealthy people. To own a boat, you've got to have a ton of money. And to have a ton of money, you either have to be born wealthy, which I was not. I was living in poverty. Or you have to have a fantastic career. A fantastic career takes a fantastic education. And a great education costs money. So when you live in poverty, to try and transcend all those barriers to achieving success are not easy. It is easy to quit, to say, I will stay where I am, versus to stretch for the ultimate. And I challenge you always to stretch for the ultimate. And so as I was saving this money in the yacht club, I was thinking about my career. What will I become? What will I do after high school? And then I read a magazine about commercial divers and how they problem solved, how they traveled all over the world and made a ton of money. And I knew I'd found a career I wanted. But then I read about the risks of losing life or losing limbs. And I became hesitant. You see, we do not die from things that we know. We may perish from things that we do not know. So in order to mitigate risk, we must equip ourselves with the best knowledge, experience, and wisdom. So I continued to read. I decided that I will be a commercial diver and I will go to the world's best commercial diving school. That school was in Los Angeles, California. Here I am, a kid in Africa. Los Angeles, America is a long ways away. But I decided I would go. I had 2 more years of high school. And my school friends said, forget it. You can't do that, you'll never be there. I would love to have seen the expression when they got a postcard after high school, after we graduated, and it said, I wish you were here too. You see, I went to the United States on a one-way plane ticket. In the days a foreigner could travel to America on a one-way plane ticket. I went to the United States with the first month of a 9-month program of schooling paid for by money I'd borrowed from my parents' entire retirement portfolio. And I went to the United States with $350 in my pocket. But more important, I went to the United States with an attitude that failure was not an option. It is sometimes so easy to say, oh well, if I just quit, I can move on to something else.